previously discussed, there's no one that hates the Liberty as much as I fucking do. I mean, like, you're just not gonna find someone. Again, I told y'all in the last video all the shit I go through with Liberty fans. And as you can imagine, my inbox was lit the fuck up with the Liberty fans just dragging the shit out of me. So, nobody understands the fucking visceral hatred between Atlanta sports and New York sports, and covering both it's gotta be what being mixed is like. That's the only thing I can say. It's gotta be what being mixed is like. It's like, well, damn, systemic oppression, but privilege, but you know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be what being mixed feels like, but that's not here nor there. While I think what a lot of people want me to do is get on here and slander the shit out of New York, I don't see how we can do that. At the end of the game, when there was that flagrant elbow to the face on LA from Stephanie or whatever from the Liberty, where she's bleeding and they only called a flagrant one, and then you had the moment where Tanisha Wright is just livid as fuck, and she's throwing the clipboard for obvious reasons, because Stephanie should have got thrown the fuck out for that. And then you got fucking Sabrina's fucking punk ass out there, egging on the fans and mocking the coach and shit like that off of a clearly missed flagrant 2. You want to mock us because you tried to kill one of our players. Again, we can talk about that, but it's like, how did we get there? And karma came for Stephanie anyway. They had to scrape that motherfucker off the court and drag her ass to the back after she rolled her fucking ankle. So God took care of that, but that's not here or there. But it's like we can talk shit about the Liberty, but it's like, why were we in that position to begin with, right? Why were we in that position to begin with? We fucked them up in Brooklyn. They had this date fucking circled on their calendar. They've only lost 3 games, and one of those losses came from us. So they, had something to say, obviously. And they blew us the fuck out the entire game. It wasn't really that competitive at any point. I mean, there were times where the lead got down to 6, but then they just kept hitting open threes. And again, open threes. Them niggas didn't play defense tonight. Well, last night, excuse me. The Dream didn't really play much defense. I mean, you saw some defensive intensity, if you will, from Alicia Gray. And there were times where we saw Haley Jones trying to jump in the passing lane and get on the floor and stuff. But outside of that, there really wasn't much defense to speak of. And even when there were times where somebody would get a block or whatever, the Liberty just get the ball back and go back up physically. And it's not like they cheated. Again, I might be a petty ass motherfucker and I'll slander anyone on earth, but it's like, I'm also a real, I'm not fucking delusional. I might be a little over the edge at times. I might have an anger issue, but I'm not delusional. They fucked us up within the confines of the rules. Jonquel Jones last night played a pretty good physical game. I mean, I didn't see anything out of pocket. I didn't see her pick up a steel chair or anything like that. I just thought it was a good physical game, and in terms of the discrepancies in the three-point shooting, we were literally leaving people open for 3. And it's one thing if it's someone who's coming off the bench who really doesn't get minutes and we don't know what she can do. But it was a situation where it's you've got known three-point shooters who are wide the fuck open and just cashing threes. And it's what is there to, again, Are the Liberty a dirty ass fucking team? Yes, but it's not like that's why we lost the game. When that is the case, slander them into oblivion, but it's we lost last night because we're fucking ass. There needs to be a moment of accountability from the Dream at that point. I did a pause because I'm pretty sure I'm going to make that the preview on Twitter, but that's not here there. Ignore my branding. But I just with Coach Wright at the end of the game getting on there talking about how, she's going to get fined because the officiating is trash and blah, 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 and blah, blah. trying to like deflect your poor coaching to it wasn't even a missed call. It just wasn't the level of call that we would expect, right? Because she still got a flagrant one. She just didn't get kicked out the game. So it's like, it's not like it was a missed call. It just wasn't to the extent you wanted. And again, at the point where it was like a 20-point game with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, even if she gets thrown out outside of justice, what the fuck do we get out of that exactly? Like, we were still going to lose the game. I just feel like a good bit of that should have been her lambasting the players. And I'm not going to say them not playing defense is on Coach Wright, because we know that's the only thing that motherfucker knows how to do is get them to play defense. So, you know, that's an issue on the players and shit like that. You got star players like fucking Stewie and fucking Sabrina and shit like that, and Courtney Vandersloot and shit, like diving on the ground to get loose balls, not giving a shit if they get hurt. Like, where's that fucking energy and hustle from Atlanta? Like, I say call out the players for a lack of defensive intensity and shit like that. We already know the issues that they have offensively. We don't need to rehash that. And we know that's probably never going to get better. But it's like one at a time. Like, we have to address things one at a time. If the team hangs their hat on defense, you can't go into the third quarter when the niggas already have 89 and you're saying, well, let's make sure they don't get to 100, and then they end with like 120. Like, this is like a building block shit. Like, if you want to say that we are this defensive team that just runs the fast break and shit like that, then you have to play defense. And then like, I do feel like that's like the first part of it. Like, it's building blocks. You know, our foundation is our defense and our intensity. So if they're going to go out there and play fucking lazy and not even fucking try for rebounds, like, I'm not blaming this 100% on Coach, because it's like, again, like, you can't help if the niggas don't want to play defense. You know, my critiques with Coach Wright is on the offensive end, but it's just, I don't know. I just feel like this is one of those games where it's like, you got to look in the mirror. You know, you can point the finger, but it's like, when things are happening and it's on you, I don't see the point in pointing the finger in every other direction. I think it's okay to say, you know, we just played like shit. We got to do better next game. I think that's okay to say. You know, I think that is okay to say, especially because it's like the expectations of our team isn't a championship. You know, we're just a competitive squad. So it's okay to have nights where they don't play well defensively. You know what I mean? And no one's expecting anything from them offensively anyway. So it's like, you know, the one thing we pride ourselves on, you got to fucking do. And when you don't do it, that's why you lost the game. You know, I think we've proven we can go toe to toe with anyone as long as we are playing well on the defensive end. And you see Alicia Gray's playing really well offensively. Ryan Howard is unguardable. Like, we've got a great tandem. You know, maybe the matchups with Cheyenne Parker might be unfavorable at times, but I mean, we've got two bona fide fucking buckets. Even without plays, I mean, I feel like you lock in on defense and you just have a pulse offensively. Again, even without plays, I feel like we can hang with anyone. But if you're not going to play defense, and that is the only thing we actually do well consistently, how can you be surprised that we lose the game? I mean, like, they would have open three-pointers, and we're just standing there like, oh, maybe they'll miss. No, they're not. They're not. It's the Liberty. They're not going to fucking miss. Like, it's a very poor strategy. This is not a pickup game at the YMCA. These are professional fucking athletes. But that's not neither there. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you wanted me to get on here and slander the Liberty, I can't do it this video because I feel like this was a self-inflicted L. But let me know your thoughts down below. Set with the Bond. You're on Hoodie Fish. I think our next game's like Wednesday or some shit like that. I'll see y'all then.